in times like this, it's important to have an opinion. Yet in times like this, it's seen as important not to have an opinion. But it's important that we have an opinion enough that we say something about what's going on. And that's exactly how I feel this morning. I feel like giving my opinion. And it's important for me to say also, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just an opinion. We don't know all the facts about what's going on, but what we do know is, through scientists themselves, something like 0.2% of people die from this disease. So they're either not telling us something else about the disease, or we are all being scared to death for actually no real reason. Now, sometimes people don't have to have a reason for telling other people to do things. Some people just like to do that just for the sake of maintaining and controlling some sense of power over others. And you have to ask the question, and obviously because I'm Scottish, British, I'm asking these questions. When we are told for almost a full week that a full rundown of what is going to happen next in the UK will be announced, and then we have our leader giving us this full rundown on national TV with an appointment at 7 p.m. addressing the nation in that Queen-like, Churchill-like-esque way, only to sit and listen to almost meaningless dribble for most people. Now, I know over the past 8 weeks, most people have been frightened to death of leaving the house. And a lot of those people now frightened to death of leaving the house. So the stay-at-home thing will still apply to most people. But the reality is, if it's such a tiny percent of us suffer from side effects from this kind of Covid-19 illness, if it's a tiny, tiny percent, why is the whole of the nation being locked down? I don't have the answer, but there has to be an answer to the question, why? Are we doing it because of peer mentality that loves to think en masse? And more than ever today, with the social, connected way of life that we live, people are connected even more and more. Because those groups of people that are having an illness serious enough to die, they die for a reason. By the way, I don't mean a reason, like it's preordained or anything, but they died for a reason, that they have some kind of other illness. And these are the ones we should be rounding up and shielding, protecting, looking after until this thing passes. But rather than doing that, we've shut down the whole of society to protect society that really doesn't need protecting. Because we will either build immunity or it will pass by us without any effect. So it raises so many questions. What is going on? What is the truth behind all this? And this is not a conspiracy, but who's driving this? Is it the scientists who are conducting some kind of mass experiment with everyone? Or is it the politicians who are asking them to proclaim results from some kind of mass experiment to frighten people to death? But that doesn't make any sense, because it destroys society, which society needs to be paid for. And now we have these half-hearted non-announcements where we're still not really sure what's happening. And we're being told today now that there's a 50-page document coming out that will explain it in more depth. But what does that all mean? For example, if you have a business, and of course I have businesses, I'm not just saying this to, because I'm in business, but if you have a business where everything needs to be paid, including staff and so on, the government can't keep paying our staff and keep paying our premises and keep paying our wages and everything else It isn't possible. That's exactly what communism did. They created jobs that didn't exist and paid people a monthly salary to control the masses. And anyone who wanted to leave that control were either sent to Siberia, and on many, many occasions they were simply killed. Now, I'm not saying we're facing that kind of thing, not at all. But I suppose I'm trying to make sense of the senseless. I suppose I'm trying to see the leader in the leaderless. I suppose I'm trying to find some hope with the hopeless. Because right now, we are still not being told what's happening. And that makes me sit here thinking, well, what is happening? And that's why I'm questioning these things and talking about these things right now with you. Because we're really not sure what's happening. And if you look at some of the controlling phrases that are coming out, the new normal. Well, was there a new normal after the Spanish flu? No, there wasn't. There was just a normal with precautions. But phrases like new normal are designed to terrify the masses and sell media. So are we becoming slaves of the media? Are we becoming slaves of the governing bodies? Are we becoming slaves of the scientists? And what can we do right now? I suppose we tried not to let it affect our personal life too much. And if we can still get a coffee in the day, we'll go for a coffee. If we can still go for a walk in the day, we'll go for a walk. And maybe after talking to you, it sounds like I'm watching the news all the time. But the fact is, I try and avoid a lot of the news. But I can feel the frustration on the street. If I go out, will I catch a killer disease? If I leave the house, will I die? How can you possibly have this social distancing in most elements of life? When you go for a haircut, it's impossible. When you go to the dentist, it's impossible. When you go to the doctor, it's impossible. When you go for a dress fitting, it's impossible. When you go into a shop, it's impossible. It's just not a new normal. It's not going to work. So I think what we really need to do right now is try and avoid the news. I think we need to start thinking different about our life, thinking in different directions, different elements, different areas, diversification, and look at ways that we can enhance our life in the meantime. Because at the end of the day, we're just human beings, and human beings need human contact. Human beings, by design, need to socialise. Look at animals. Animals have to socialise. They have to socialise. Human beings, we are conscious beings, and we have to socialise. It's part of our DNA to socialise. If you're not married, how do you go on a date? If you're looking for relationships, how do you find someone? Do you sit 2 meters away from someone and eventually have a cyber kiss? It's just a ridiculous concept. So right now, guys, all we can do is we can hope and wait, but in the meantime, we can enhance our life through further education, learning something brand new, looking at different ways to feed this new fear that has taken place, looking at ways we can become leaders in a leaderless society, looking at ways we can build hope within the hopeless, and we can do our very best doing that to the best of our ability. So this isn't really a video made to make you feel fed up or depressed. It's a small video, hopefully, to share some hope with you that everything is possible. But like you, I'm frustrated with the lack of leadership that we are seeing in this country right now. It is beyond shocking. And I know my opinion won't harmonise with a lot of opinions, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just voicing something, it should be voiced. And I hope to see your opinion either on this video or in a message to me or on your own video voicing your opinion also. That's it, guys. In times like this, you must voice your opinion.